Quite often, people tend to excuse their preference for conflict avoidance by saying things like, I am a peacemaker, or I don't want to ruffle any feathers. Whether it's an annoying coworker who leaves coffee mugs all over the office, or it's a boss who makes inappropriate jokes, their fear of confrontation often outweighs their desire to address the issue head on. Consequently, the problem never gets resolved and the distressed individual continues to suffer. But the truth is, conflict avoidance is a type of people-pleasing behavior that typically arises from a deep-rooted fear of upsetting others. Many of these tendencies can be traced back to growing up in an environment that was dismissive or hypercritical. People who respond to conflict this way often expect negative outcomes and find the thought of it scary or unnerving. Before we dive into how you can change your perspective about conflict, let's first have a look at why conflict avoidance is not helpful. When you avoid the slightest disagreement, you're compromising your true feelings and storing up frustration that can end up negatively affecting your health. One study that is published on the National Library of Medicine found that bottling up our emotions can increase the risk of premature death, including death from cancer. Laughing nervously or plastering a fake smile on our face instead of acknowledging distressing emotions can also lead to feelings of loneliness and depression. So though avoidance sometimes might feel like the best way to deal with conflict, but in the long run, it ends up harming our ability to have deep relationships because we're cutting off all honest communication with the other person. If you're terrified of expressing your opinion in a direct manner, here are 5 ways to get over your fear of confrontation. 1. Weigh the long-term payoff against the short-term discomfort. Being uneasy about the confrontation for the next few minutes, hours, or days is a small price to pay for the peace of mind you'll enjoy afterwards. It's much better than having an uneasy feeling hanging over your head for years. Let's say a neighbor has borrowed your baking utensils but has yet to return it. Now you want to bake a cake, but you really don't want to ask for it back. As your longing to bake grows, so does your resentment. 5 months from now, and countless hours of rumination and resentment and bitterness, you blow up at your neighbor and get your baking utensils back while potentially destroying your friendship. In this scenario, you could choose to experience months of internal resentment and bitterness and eventually ruining your friendship, or you could face 30 seconds of discomfort now and say, hey, do you think you'll be done with your baking soon? And allow a polite confrontation from ruining your whole summer. Every time you're tempted to stay quiet, always consider what are all the problems you could experience when you avoid confrontation, as well as what you could achieve or gain by speaking up. Identifying the logical, rational reasons you should confront someone, even when it feels scary, can give you the boost in courage you need to do it. 2. Reconsider the assumptions you make about confrontation. Thinking confrontation is bad or telling someone I disagree with them will ruin my relationship will fuel your fear. Whether you learn to walk on eggshells when you had a difficult boss or your fear of confrontation goes all the way back to childhood, check your assumptions. In reality, confrontation is healthy. If you are able to confront someone in an assertive but kind manner, you might find others welcome your input, agree to create positive change, and improve the situation more than you could ever imagine. Thirdly, stick to I statements and work on staying calm. At the heart of all good communication is the ability to stick to I statements rather than say, you're so arrogant in meetings and you never even bother showing up on time. So instead of that, say, I am concerned about the way you address the group and I feel disrespected when you arrive late. Avoid being overly accusatory and express what you think and how you feel. Most importantly, take a few deep breaths and don't let your anger get the best of you, even if the other person lashes out. The goal is to be assertive, not aggressive. 4. Approach confrontations like a collaboration rather than a competition. Instead of adopting a you against them mentality, think about it as the two of you united against a problem. For example, in approaching a potential confrontation with your partner on overspending, avoid saying, you need to get your Amazon spending under control. But instead try, I know we're trying to save for a trip to Europe. How can we keep our eye on the prize and make our dream happen? If the conversation gets derailed, steer it back to your common goal. By doing this, you'll feel less like adversaries and more like a team. 5. Keep practicing one small step at a time. Confronting someone is more like an art than science. What works well in one circumstance or with one person might not work in another. But with practice, you'll be able to recognize when to speak up, how to do it, and how to express yourself in the most effective way. Don't pick the biggest problem. Start small with one minor issue to address, see what happens, then slowly work your way up to bigger issues. Think of your efforts as a work in progress and take small steps. Just like any fear, facing your fear of confrontation gets easier with practice. The more you speak up for yourself, the less frightening it becomes.